Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 1.10. We are going back to basics. You find us at the launch pad with our new rocket, the Jeb-1. We're dropping our boosters straight back onto the launch pad. What we'll do now is just ramp this up. It's quite loud, the engines, aren't they? You can start to see some ground now, so we start to get a bit nervous. Delta V, you see this fuel has popped up into a nice range again. I do think we're having problems with the fuel gauge. I think we had that in the last one. Oh, because I'm in orbital mode, not surface mode. That would... Now, for the pièce de résistance, we are going to release our rover. Ooh, it's gone through the ground. There it is. How exciting. Right. Can it go forward? Oh, explosions. Do we actually have any control? Oh! Oh no. Oh dear. That's gone wrong. I think we're just going to jump back to the craft. Oh! Ooh! Ooh! That was almost a complete and utter disaster. Welcome back to basics in Kerbal Space Program 1.10. You can see right now I am just spending all of the lovely science we got from our last little jaunt to Minmus. We've got a lot of things to try and decide between, and I think I ended up basically just choosing a range of things. I will probably come to regret some of the choices I made. I think it would have been maybe a better idea to get nuclear engines, things like that. But anyway, so today, what are we doing? Well, we're gonna, after our last mission, I decided we probably need to start understanding communication, because that's something I've never really had to deal with before in the stock game. I've done a bit with remote tech and things like that years and years and years ago, but I've not used the KerbNet stuff at all. And I think last time one of the problems we had with the rover, well, one of the many problems, was to do with KerbNet. So I'm trying to understand that a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch ourselves a satellite constellation. So you can see there, I'm putting together this constellation. I've put it onto a booster that I've already sort of prepared, which is actually going to be used for some other stuff. It's actually part of the rescue Nalcott from orbit plan. But we've had to stick some extra boosters on, give it a bit more power. This is actually designed to hopefully work to other planetary bodies. So as we finish it off, I think I'll just hand back to myself. So we're on the launch pad, and we're ready to go. We're going to get our thrust up, SAS on. We don't have any special sort of ability to stabilize in different orientations, because we're just using a basic probe core to manage this. Let's just get going. We're going to aim for an equatorial sort of orbit of Kerbin. And let's see what happens. I will probably do some speedy up bits and meet you in orbit or just before. Right, so welcome back. We are in orbit. It's a bit of an odd one. I just kept burning. One thing we've got to decide now is, do we put this into a Kerbostationary orbit, or do we just put it in a sort of sensible orbit to give us a bit of coverage? Now, we are going to have to add some other craft to this constellation in the future with longer range antennae and things like that. Kerbin rotates once every, in effect, 6 hours. It's actually less than that because of the movement around the sun and so forth. I go through Kerbal. But if we're putting in a 6-hour orbit, in effect, it'd be Kerbostationary or geostationary, whatever you want to use the term for. I think we're actually gonna put it into, we're gonna try and put it into something similar to Kerbostationary. You may have noticed on the way up there, I actually changed where we control the craft from, because we were controlling it from this probe at the end, which is all well and good, but Slight problem, it was wobbling because they are not particularly rigid. So that wasn't a great choice. So we've moved to the probe body that we've actually left on this in this bottom section here. We also have an issue with this here. I was hoping to not leave any debris in orbit, which is why this has a probe body on it. We're probably going to end up leaving this in orbit. This craft is actually designed to do this for other planetary bodies in our system. So we're not too worried about having lots of extra delta V here. That's just a little bit of a test so we can look at Mun and Minmus for this sort of thing. And we'll probably do that quickly after this. So first things first, let's get some solar panels out, because we do have a couple on the probe body back there, but it is worth us getting them all out. So we'll just extend them all, and we don't need to put any antenna out. We have those. They're already active. So we're going to look to probably the most effective place to do our burns is actually down here at periaps. We want to bring our apoaps up to about another million on top of what it is. Then we'll stop. Then we'll do another burn from there. It's actually better for us to do the burn at periaps because the Oberth effect, we get a bigger push, a bigger bang for our bucks, and then circularize up at the top there. I'm not sure what the actual ratio difference will be there, but it's yeah, we'll give it a go. What we also want to do is, once we've increased this apoaps, is bring out the whole of this orbit. Instead of being 6 hours, which would be the final orbit, we want to take it to be probably 4 hours, and that will mean we can actually then release our satellites, circularize them each time, and that's quite a nice way of doing it. So let's put a little maneuver node there. Let's warp to it, and let's try and get on our maneuver node. This is going to take a while because, of course, the craft is not the most well endowed with mobility at the moment. We've got quite a heavy weight going on. In an ideal world, we should have dropped this stage much earlier to save ourselves a bit of weight, but we didn't. We actually want to be. I don't even know why I'm looking at the. I shouldn't even be looking at the maneuver node. I should actually be looking at prograde retrograde. So we're about 23 seconds away from periaps. Once we get there, we'll just stick the engines on. We should rotate around in time for that. We'll stick the engines on, use the gimbaling, and we'll take our apoaps up to somewhere near where we want to be. In fact, you know what? How much fuel is it? That's 700. We're not going to need all that fuel. Let's just do this now. It makes it just a little easier, doesn't it? So we're just going to keep rotating around until we get to the position we need to be at. There we are. This is going to make it a much more nimble craft as well, and we've got an engine, a nice little small engine that just lets us just really stabilize quite nicely, and we can fine tune there. So you can see these numbers here. What we're looking for is 2863. 2863. So when we get to 28 or near there, we'll slow down. We don't need to be perfect. That's not the aim of this. So I will just we won't speed you up this bit. You can watch me overshoot. 4. In fact, yeah, we're coming up. 6, 7, 8. Right, I'm going to speed up me potentially trying to get this just as good as I can. It's not going to be perfect, so give me a second. Right, so we've now got our apoaps where we want to be, up here. So now we need to warp forward until we get to near the apoaps, and then we're going to basically turn this orbit into, and it's really nice, there's an orbital period down the bottom left of the screen there. We can actually look at the orbital period, take that up to 4 hours. At that point we can start putting our satellites out. . Right, so we've now got an orbital period of about 4 hours. So the next task is we're basically going to unstack these one by one and do what we need to do. Now, I believe that one of the things I did not do when I was building this was I didn't remove the force of ejection on this. So what I will do is we're going to do them all at once, I think, or something like that. Now we're gonna wait until we get near the point of release, and then we'll do the release. Yeah. So easy way to do this is we've gone past apoapsis now. We put a new maneuver node in at apoapsis, add a maneuver node, a little bit of forward delta V. They're all facing the right direction, and then we just we accelerate to that point. You can decouple them halfway around. You can do all sorts of clever stuff like that, but we don't need to worry about that. So we're going to be going for a 6 hour, well, just under 6 hour orbital period. We're coming around now, so let's do this together. We've got about 50 seconds to insertion point, so let's see if we can get in there and decouple this. This is going to be difficult. You know what's actually easier? Moving this to here and doing this. There we go. And then we can do this. Oh, we're all tangled. That's interesting. Can we just... There we go. Right. So we now know that we're going to have trouble with all of these as they come out. So let's put this here. There we go. Right, we're going to try now, because we're at apoapsis, we're going to just ramp the engine up. And we're aiming to take this to about... We're not going to be perfect with this because, it doesn't need to be perfect at the moment. About just over 5 hours, 59 minutes and about 10 seconds, just less than that. So we're going to burn our fuel down. We've got loads of fuel in this thing. This is one of the smaller tanks, one of the smallest engines, the ant engine. And we're just going to burn along there. So I will do this, and then I will get right back to you. Right, you may have seen there that I had to turn around and burn the other way. I did overshoot a little bit, but we've got so much fuel on this, it's not really a problem. We could do all sorts with these. So we have our first craft in the correct location. That's it. 286, 285. It doesn't have to be perfect. The semi-major axis, the period of orbit, is the important bit. So I'm going to switch back to our relay, which is behind us. And we're probably going to be looking at releasing our next craft on the next time round. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to rinse and repeat. We're going to do this 3 times, and each one will get basically released staggered behind the last one. So I will do the next 2 and get right back to you. Welcome back. So we've put those 3 satellites in the correct positions now. You can actually have a look here, 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 and here. We've got 3 of them in a nice triangle. If we actually put this on, you can see they can signal each other. They can get all the base stations down on Kerbin. So we have one more task to do. And that task is to get rid of this stage, because I don't want it floating around and getting annoying. So I'm going to extend that antenna just in case I need it. We're going to turn it to a retrograde. Where are we? find the retrograde. There we are. And we're just gonna fire it back down. So burn this up. So we can see its periaps is going to drop really quickly, and then we don't really need to worry about it anymore. We could speedy it up, and in fact, let's. Oh, is it? There we go. So we are coming down. Wonderful. So we can cut that out. That's going to be a wasted stage soon. We can jump to here to com relay, and we can have a look at our network. So here we are. It's a lovely view of the sun. We can see looking all around. There's Kerbin. Now let's actually do a little bit of a time warp. If we've got this in the right place, our satellite should, the Kerbin should seem to not really move. We should see everything else move. We are actually, there we go. We're actually watching ourselves spinning around on the spot. That's better. Cameras are important. We can actually see there, and if we actually look, we got electric charge going into eclipse there. Electric charge dies out really quickly. Relay is not particularly effective at that point. Could have done with some bigger batteries, but this is just a temporary little setup. You can see we're slowly, are we slowly drifting? No, we're pretty much stable over the surface of Kerbin, which is superb. So we're going to leave that there with our little network. Next step is we're going to probably go back to the Mun. And we are also going to look at setting up some relay systems around a Mun and a Minmus. I may do that as a little speedy up compilation bit for that, but we'll see. So until next time, have a good one.